Hey guys, welcome back to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason. I'm an alchemist and a grid worker, spiritual teacher. Too many labels. And so are you. You're so much more important than you could possibly realize. And this has come, I've always known this about everyone on this awakening journey, but this happens every time. You can conceptually understand something, and then you start to have a knowing of what this actually means. So, if you're watching this video, if you resonate with my material, if you subscribe to this channel, you are one of us. You are one of the first people on this entire planet to go through this. There are millions of us, yes, but there are literal billions of people on this planet. And from a percentage perspective, you are more rare than gold, more rare than diamonds. So I did some breath work this evening, and we have a full moon in Leo, and it's bloody cold here. It's minus 22 Celsius, and it's probably the coldest day of the year. And with Leo, it brings out confidence and assertiveness and directness. And I've found myself in that state. You know, I've always been one to fight for the underdog and hate injustice. And I've always been one to say something about it when I see it. And since I've been on this spiritual journey, I've been able to see it clearer than ever. And I haven't felt like there's anything I could do about it. But it's not true. These videos are something. And if they're being suppressed from spreading, it means that the message is a lot more important than I'm giving myself credit for. So, okay, I had my spiritual enlightenment, we'll call it. It lasted about 3 days, and this was last year in December 20th to be precise. I woke up in Christ consciousness, and I went around town here. Now we've got about 10,000 people in this town. And in that state, you can see through everything. I mean, you can also see the people that are on as high a level as you are, within reason. So as you awaken, your detector for people who are also awake becomes very strong. And being thrust into complete Christ consciousness last year, I could immediately see it. And of the 10,000 people, I spent 3 days roaming around this town, going from store to store and doing all kinds of stuff. But I met a handful of people who you could see the light in their eyes. And that is a good way to describe it. Now, I've spent the past over a year, well, the Christ consciousness ended, and I ended up going back to being myself. And when you do that, well, it's devastating to begin with, but you can't see that as clearly anymore because of all the trauma and work you have to do on this mind-body complex in order to heal it enough so that it can start to see that again. So that's what I've been doing. And the most effective method for clearing this stuff out and allowing the body to heal itself and mind has been breath work. And I've started doing breath work at home by myself. I do Kriya Pranayama. And tonight I went to another breathwork session, which is always effective. Now I brought up a bunch of stuff, shed a lot of tears, and didn't feel the need to talk about it anymore. It's just part of the healing process. You know, the mind-body complex wants to attach to that, the healing journey, and say, oh, I'm someone who's suffered from this, or I'm someone who's a recovering alcoholic, or I'm these labels. You become partly associated with the trauma that you went through, and then you attach to that instead of all the other stuff I used to attach to. You know, it's like when someone has an illness and then that becomes their identity, that illness. They almost don't want the illness to be cured, because then who are they without it? It's defined them for so long. And I found myself tonight there's a lot more separation between the conscious me and the mind-body complex. So all of that to tell you that I've healed enough to the point where I can see the light in people's eyes very quickly. And it's hard to describe this because, so there's levels. Each time, like a record is a good way to look at it. And this is a timeline, this record. And these records are stacked upon each other. And as you jump from one to the next and go up timelines or up frequency, as you heal yourself, your consciousness goes from one record to the other. Well, on each of these levels, there's a copy of everybody in existence. Now, if your consciousness jumps up to a high level, the chances of a lot of the other people at this point in history, at this point in the turning of the record, the chances of other people being where you are is extremely small. Most of their souls are down here somewhere. So when you're existing out in the environment on this higher level, you look into the eyes of the people and their copy, their vessel, like I said before, these bodies are avatars. Their avatars are animated by the system itself, just maybe by a tiny sliver of their higher self. So you don't see the conscious light in their eyes. And like I said, my detector for this is extremely high now. So I know when I go out in the environment around here, how many people, percentage-wise, are even close. And when I tell you it's small, it's a wild understatement. So it's less than 1%. 1 out of 100 if you're lucky. If you're lucky. We tend to find each other and be drawn to each other. This is part of the way the system works. But there's not many. So less than 1% of the people out there are like you. You if you are resonating with this material and you understand what I'm saying, you don't have to agree with all of it. You just have a background sensation that maybe what I'm saying is correct, or at least partially correct. Or you've had the realization that there is a separation between the monkey mind, like I like to call it, and the actual you, where you can observe the thoughts that this creation has at any point. If you've even seen that once, you are extremely, extremely rare. It's very uncommon. We are at the very, very early stages of the entire planet awakening. And all of us, we're operating at a high level. We can see through things more than others can. Now, I'm not saying this to get a spiritual ego and say that you're better than anyone else, because you're not. You wrote the story for yourself and you're playing it out as such. You know, you may have written an early awakening in this game in order to test if you will get a spiritual ego. So be careful. You're not better. All of these other people have the exact same capabilities you have to awaken at any point. And on the other side, we all have infinite wisdom, and in the end, we are all the same. You can choose how much of that to project down here, and it's all just an intricate play. So, like I said, don't get caught up in that. But it also does mean that you, in this story that we're in, are responsible to anchor light, to be a leader in the new world. Now, don't get intimidated. Don't panic. I can explain what this means. A lot of us have no desire to lead anyone. We've all, a lot of us have had very hard lives. They've been very difficult and very traumatizing on us, and we're very soft in general as people. We're all extremely strong, or we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be able to go through the stuff you've went through without making it. But you're an empath and you feel deeply. You wouldn't be here if you're not. So this world hurts you. It certainly has hurt me. Just the existence of evil and being exposed to any of it has been extremely traumatizing for me. And that's why I'm working through this. But you are no different. Your responsibility is to be a leader. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be a leader of a country. In fact, there won't be countries at some point. I know that's hard to believe, but this is the truth. When everyone is in Christ consciousness, why in God's name would we need borders and police and military? No one's going to have the capability of hurting anyone else. So, this world is changing, and for the better, but it is going to be chaotic. We are getting rid of all of the school systems, all of the financial systems, political systems. Free energy is coming, which means that there comes a point in time where there is no need to work anymore. If you have, the only reason we work in the first place is because energy is scarce. We need to pay for it. In order to manufacture things, you have to expend energy. If energy is free, how much do things cost? Do you see? If you have to transport things and energy is free, there's no transportation cost. If there's no manufacturing cost, If you have AI-driven robots on free energy, once they're built, they can work for infinity, and in fact, the robots can be set up to repair themselves. So it becomes a infinite loop of unlimited distilled labor for free. So us humans will be sitting around, and what do? We we create, we play. This was the original purpose of us, and the point of the earth in the first place, but it's been corrupted. So my point is, this system is going to be rebuilt from the ground up, brick by brick, and you are responsible to do it. Now, sort of. On a scale, each one of us is going to have to be a leader. Now, maybe that's just a leader in your family group. The chances of you not being the first one in your family group to awaken is almost zero. Because like I said, it's 1 in 100. But by the nature of the system, when you awaken, you trigger the awakening of others. That's why you woke up first. So your only job is to heal yourself so that you can raise your vibration and assist others just by existing in waking up. You are a catalyst, you're a trigger. You start a fire. You're the candle that lights 100 other candles. So your only real responsibility is to heal yourself and make yourself as whole as possible. And you've fulfilled your function. Now, you'll notice that as you heal yourself, your ambitions may grow a little larger and you may want to help more people. But this has to be a you first function. You have to fill your cup and then pour from that. It's the only way this was going to work. You will be a wounded healer if you do anything else. So if you are just in existence being a leader, then you're a leader. If you're just existing, you're still healing. Then there's family groups. Then you're the first one in your friend group. And as this chaos ensues, and everyone who's still drawn into this outside 3D media and all the drama that's going to be happening on the outside, which you should ignore completely, is going to be looking to find someone who can remain peaceful and calm. That is you. Then they're going to ask you questions. How are you doing this? Aren't you afraid? No. I know God has got my back. The universe is not going to let me fail, or any of us. This is all written, and the end result is paradise. The transition to that is what we have to navigate. And there will be some of us who are world leaders, country leaders. Maybe you're just a leader of a hospital, because guess what? Those things are going to be replaced as well. Med beds, for example, and not to mention all the abilities that each of you will have turned on as you start to heal yourself and you start to anchor more of this higher frequency light into this physical vessel, and it heals more. You get abilities. Those will happen. It's going to happen. So some people call this the 144, a chosen one. None of those things really matter. We're absolutely more than 144,000, so that's not accurate. There's millions, and it will continue to grow. And those people that you awaken will light the candles of others, and this becomes a cascade until everybody's awake, and then all this crap stops on the outside. All of this stuff we've had to put up with for, well, our entire lives goes away, and we get to live like we're supposed to live in peace. Chosen one, don't let it go to your head. You are chosen, but everybody's chosen. We're all God's creatures. We're all here. We're all part of God. There is no, you are God. I've said this before. You're just a fractal of Him. It, Om, the witch to which there is no witcher. You're a fractal of it, and if you go high enough, we're all equal, we're all the same, we're all here playing this game, this play. To what end, I'm not sure, but it's the future that I've seen is certainly the most beautiful ending to this play that I could have ever dreamt up, which, of course, we did. So I think I'll leave it there. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you soon.